Hello everyone. Today in this video, I'll discuss one of my case studies on the topic Salesforce to HubSpot migration. So let me first tell you about the client's requirements. The client wanted us to migrate all the Salesforce opportunities and related items like line items, products, codes, and attachments to HubSpot deals. The second requirement was to migrate all the opportunities related events and meetings to HubSpot deals and set up the complete migrated data in one place with all the relevant and correct mapping. Also, the client wanted us to set up a pipeline where all the data should be migrated. This is the process we followed for migration from Salesforce to HubSpot. Moving to the project execution, I would like to show you how we migrate the Salesforce opportunities and their related items to HubSpot as deals. So let's get started. So the migration of Salesforce opportunities to HubSpot we have used, as we know that HubSpot provides a standard functionality to import the standard objects like contact, companies, product or deals. So we have used this in standard functionality. We have just exported the opportunities that you wanted to import into HubSpot. We'll utilize the standard functionality of HubSpot and create a sheet or CSV and import that sheet to HubSpot as deals using standard import functionality. I can show you here we just need to go to settings and we have an import functionality, import and export, and we can just go to import and upload that sheet and start an import from here. So in this way, I have imported all the Salesforce opportunities that I wanted to migrate from Salesforce to HubSpot. Apart from that, we can also migrate the Salesforce opportunities line items or say products to HubSpot as line items because we have line items in HubSpot in deals. So we don't have any standard functionality from HubSpot for the migration of line items. So we need to use API code for that. And we have to work on that API and just import the line items with their relevant deals IDs. So we need a sheet of all the line items and we have a correct deal ID for that line item. So we need to use various Excel functionalities for that and map the valid field with the correct ID. So in this way, we have just imported and we can just import the line items from Salesforce to HubSpot. So let's move forward. We have also imported the codes from Salesforce opportunities. So basically, we don't have any standard functionality for codes. So we can only create the codes manually. So we don't have any API or standard import or sync to button in HubSpot. So we can only make the codes manually and we need a company's contacts and information as well. So firstly, the deal should have a company or an account at the session. Before creating a code, we need line items because we can only use those line items in a code. And whenever a code is generated, the total amount will appear in a deal. You can just check that out. So for deals, we can just create them manually. Other than that, we can also import or migrate the Salesforce opportunities attachments or say files as a deal attachment. So for that, we have an API. So before importing the attachments into the HubSpot, we need a proper backup for all the files and attachments from Salesforce. When we export the attachments and files, we also get a content document version ID. So that content document version ID is the name of the file that we will export and get from the backup of the Salesforce. So whenever you download the complete export of all the attachments and files, the file name will be the content version ID of the content document. So we have to be very careful about that and we can choose that content version ID. We have a content document version ID and we have to carefully map that content document version ID on the sheet that we will use for API. I would like to show you how attachments and codes line items appear in Salesforce in HubSpot deals. So let's go to the deals and let's take an example. You can see that under deals we have a company and contacts and attachment section where we can just see all the attachments that we will link code after migration. We have line items which is a product and we have all the line items over here. The code. Before getting a code, we have already discussed that we need a company and contacts association for a deal. And we should have a line item so that we can just wait for a code using all this information from the deal. So these are all the details and discussion that we could see under a deal from the side path. Talking about the client requirement, the client wanted to migrate all the Salesforce opportunities and related items like products, line items, and codes and attachments to HubSpot as deals. So they wanted to import and migrate some filtered opportunities like only those opportunities which have stages like close to owner proposal. So we have just filtered out the data from the Salesforce and migrated only those opportunities that they require. Apart from that, they also wanted to import the opportunities related to events and meetings to deals. So all these activities which are under opportunities should be in the HubSpot. So for that, we can also use a sync feature from a deal from HubSpot. Like, we have a sync feature in HubSpot as well, so we can just sync to connect Salesforce applications with the HubSpot and just sync on the button. We can also filter out the data which we don't want to sync from Salesforce to HubSpot. So using this feature, we can also import the data and migrate the data from Salesforce. But for the code line items like quotes and attachments, we have to do something API, quotes, and we can launch and get them using sync. So in this way, we migrated the Salesforce data to HubSpot. If you are looking for any guidance or assistance to migrate the Salesforce to HubSpot, hire Cloud Analogy's Salesforce migration expert who assists you at every step of your migration journey and ensure that everything goes smoothly. Get in touch with Cloud Analogy now.